Friday, December 17th, edition of the Carolina Weather Video. 1 week from today, Christmas Eve. How about that? All right, we had the winter weather event yesterday on Thursday across the region. A lot of freezing rain issues, especially around the Triad, up into parts of the Triangle viewing areas. And as we're heading into the weekend, another potential system's on the weather maps. This is the radar this morning. Now, no precipitation out there in our viewing area, in our region this morning. But this is the precip that's associated with one of the pieces of our next storm system. And that'll continue progressing eastward. You can kind of pick up that little disturbance back here, moving from the desert southwest into the southern plain states on the 500 millibar chart. Now, I mentioned no precipitation out there this morning, but we do have a winter weather advisory roughly along I-40. And that is due to the black ice potential, a lot of residual moisture and some fog out there. And temperatures sub-freezing in many instances, so some very slick roads, especially in the Triad and parts of the Triangle areas this morning. So just use a lot of caution and watch out for a lot of those areas that just look wet on the roads could very well be ice. Interesting temperature scheme across the Carolinas this morning. You have places like Columbia and Wilmington in the 50s while it's sub-freezing in the I-40 corridor up into Virginia. And frontal boundary make it to right about there, and you can pick that up pretty clearly here on the wind stream lines. The frontal boundary sitting close to the North and South Carolina border region, but that'll be dropping southward today. And so that warm air's made it about as far north as it's going to make it. Now, I showed you the upper air chart today. There's where the GFS, this was the 0Z run, and the 6Z is fairly similar. What it does with the system over the weekend. And another Clipper type system is going to try to drop in midweek next week. Well, let's talk about what's happening here, and I'll show you some of the more localized modeling here in just a moment. But here's the GFS. Today, we'll call it partly sunny sky, a cool day, but a dry day. Most Piedmont highs in the 40s. All right, tomorrow, this is early afternoon Saturday. And again, this is the GFS, and it brings some precipitation in the form of rain in parts of South Carolina and extreme southern North Carolina by early afternoon, and then as we get toward late afternoon and early evening, that precip tries to blossom back into more of the Carolinas, and there you are with precip in sub-freezing air up at 5,000 millibars in parts of the Piedmont of North Carolina, and then that system progresses northeast, and the snow then spreads into the Delmarva, eastern Virginia, southern New Jersey. Now let's get a little bit more focused in here. This is one of the latest runs at the time I'm cutting this video of the higher resolution WRF modeling. It's pretty far east with a lot of the precipitation. This is valid at 8 o'clock Saturday evening. The regional Canadian model, and I think it's doing a pretty decent job with this. Here we are at 6 in the evening Saturday. A little bit of snow from close to Charlotte and then up into the central Piedmont. We go a little bit later on here. Let's see, this would be 8 o'clock in the evening, and that snow is stretching up toward the Triangle, parts of the Triad viewing area, and into southeastern Virginia, and then from there that moves toward the Delmarva. This is all the way out at 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. So the general idea here, let's go back to this chart, and this is kind of the idea I'm going with on the air this morning. And I think I'll show you here at the end of this video the chart of what I'm going with on the air. But we'll say roughly in North Carolina, I-85 to the I-95 corridor, that is the zone that has the best chance of seeing some snow with this from late in the afternoon into the evening tomorrow. And that's where there's the chance of at least some minor accumulations. Charlotte looks pretty iffy. I would really start that zone a little just northeast of Charlotte. And then we'll say anywhere, maybe Greensboro, Asheboro, Raleigh-Durham. Those will be the areas that have the greatest chance of seeing at least a little bit of accumulating snow with this. And the chances really ramp up as you get into southeastern Virginia. And it could be a pretty good snowstorm out toward parts of eastern New England by Sunday afternoon and evening. Could be a pretty snowy football game there for the Patriots Sunday evening. All right, let's go further out in time here later on to Christmas week next week. All right, here we go right now. That is Monday. Cool and dry. Tuesday, that Clipper tries to move in, and the GFS has kind of dried up the Clipper, so I've just left in some clouds Tuesday into Wednesday, but I've removed the precipitation chance for the time being, but we might have to put that in there. We'll see how that clipper behaves. And then it looks pretty chilly. This is the 23rd, Thursday. There is Christmas Eve in the evening, and then there is Christmas morning. Looks chilly, nothing brutally cold about it on the latest 0Z run of the GFS, but it does look relatively chilly as we get into Christmas week. All right, so here one more time, let me show you kind of the map I'm going with on the air. This is just kind of some preliminary ideas. The modeling could still shift one way or another. If this were to amplify and the system over the weekend, if it were to begin to phase a little sooner, get a little stronger sooner, then we could see this strip of snow maybe extending further to the north and the west. But as it stands now, the modeling is kind of settled in, at least over the last couple cycles. So that white shaded area, that's where I'll mention there's at least some potential for a little accumulating snow Saturday, beginning late afternoon, but especially as we get into Saturday evening and Saturday night. So we'll see how that behaves, and we'll keep you up to date on that potential little bit of snow. We'll see how the system behaves over the weekend. All right, that's it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and a great weekend, and God bless.